Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 4 of Ask a Cyber Pro, where we detail the career journeys of diversity candidates in cybersecurity. Today we have Antoine Matthews. He has a very interesting journey into cybersecurity, and he spent the last 16 years of his career in marketing and sales. So, hard pivot to cybersecurity. Very impressive story. What's up, Antoine?
Man, I'm excited to be here, dude. I've been watching your videos and watching your story. So you got me excited. I'm just glad to be on the other end and being able to answer any questions and, whatever it comes, man, give me your worst.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I think that people will really learn a lot from your story. People on the fence and they think that they're too far gone there in careers that can't transition into cybersecurity. I think your story can, prove them wrong and give people that motivation that they need to make that push. So let's just start with a little bit about your background. You're from the West Coast. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. So I'm from LA. Grew up in Ladera Heights. Just a general background, man. I'm an athletic or a jock. So played football, ran track. Ended up going to Beverly Hills High School. Graduated from there. Went to West LA College. Played football for about 1 year. I broke my nose and figured, hey, man, I'm not on a scholarship here. Let's go make money. So that was the end of my football career. Then ended up going to SMC for a minute, or Santa Monica College. Then from there, actually, I got recruited to go into the military. So the Navy was actually, man, one of the best decisions I made. And I didn't realize it until after I left or after I got out of the military. So when I was in the military, I went as a yeoman, or essentially like somebody that just worked in the office. I had a real chill job. I originally wanted to go in and be super sailor. I didn't know anything about the military. So I figured, hey, I'm going to go out there and be like Popeye. I didn't want to do that. So office was good for me. Was really cool. I did 2 deployments back to back. After those deployments, I got off of the fleet, which is the seaside of the military, and went into spec war. So I spent my last 4 years with the SEALs and the SWIC, doing some really cool stuff. And actually, I got promoted up to where I was the civilian equivalent of operations manager. I was helping them bring in the new SEALs, get them scheduled in their courses so that they could be, essentially learning how to be SEALs, and then also managing the office and getting new commands set up. While I was in the military, studied for my psychology degree, my BA. I got that. And after that, man, it was like really 100% into sales. I didn't have any experience like with an actual corporate job outside of the military. So I had sat down and talked to my recruiter from the university and asked him, just some general questions. He was always kind to me. The people that at the university was cool. They said, hey, well, we have a open house. You're welcome to come by and check us out. Ended up getting a job, and it was supposed to be for a admissions counselor. Turned out to be a sales role. It was an old bait and switch, to be honest with you. But either way, man, I crushed it, man. I did really good at that in terms of my sales. And then fast forward, after that, I left. Wanted to do something different in sales. That was more like a call center style. I didn't really like it too much. Went to a company called WebPass, which was a startup. And what they do is just like point-to-point fiber. That company got acquired by Google. So I had a great time there. That was B2B. I was out mixing and mingling, bringing the wine and dining to clients, which was really cool. After I left from there, went back to school. I figured that I was going to escalate my career when it did come to sales. So I went to school for marketing, got my master's degree in marketing. I started doing consultancy with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses. I seen that there was a huge gap in the way, the digital platform was changing the way business was done. And a lot of people were being left behind. So I was helping small to medium-sized businesses essentially like make their presence known online and then really clarify who their audience was and get their message across. After that, went back into sales, but this time it was more so tech sales. So I worked with a company or a startup called Logically. And this is where I really got my itch for cybersecurity because they sold security products. They were a SaaS company, so outsourced IT.
And how old were you at the time right there when you are, getting your interest piqued by cybersecurity?
Oh man, that was fairly recent, man. Oh, dude, you're gonna make me age myself, bro. That was like I like you though. I was like 33 when that happened. I was 33. Yeah. And prior to this, I had a little bit of experience, not especially with like cybersecurity, but doing little stuff. Like I know how to download some websites and go to some different, I knew how to get the tools that I needed.
Right.
But that really opened my eyes on the corporate level, because my role was to go inside of these businesses and look at their infrastructure, see where the gaps were, the vulnerabilities, and then come back and match them with solutions that essentially our company offered. And I got really into cybersecurity to the point, especially with me learning how to market myself. What I would do is I had a podcast or different websites I would go to and read the current events that happen in cyber community. And I would go on LinkedIn and make short videos, 1 to 2 minutes, and post it out. Even write articles, do as much as I can to let people know like this is a serious thing. When you get interested in something like that, and then it open up. But it benefited me obviously in sales because now I'm the subject matter expert. I stayed there for a while, did really good. And then I just took that dive, man. I didn't know exactly how it was going to work out, but I went back to school for a second master's, had to put my family life on hold, put friends, the gym, everything, and said, look, I'm going to really put my head down and grind this out. And that's where we are right now. It worked out for me.
Man, so you touched on a lot of things right there, but one of the things that you talked about was the marketing piece. And I always say that nobody starts their career in cybersecurity. We all take a skill set and leverage it and apply it to security. And it sounds like what you did was taking your marketing skills and you put it to work. The blogs, the videos, all that stuff is giving yourself great exposure, and it's great practice. When you start talking cybersecurity and you can start speaking to that stuff in the interviews and stuff like that, you just come across a lot more confident, and it helps you get it done, man. So yeah, hats off to you for taking that approach, because a lot of people, they wouldn't. And when I was trying to get in cybersecurity, I would tell anybody who will listen, people on a train, hey, I'm trying to get in cyber, and hopes, hey, maybe his uncle knows something about cyber. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good way to go about it.
Yeah, man, I think that's the key. At the end of the day, like we are the product. It's not what we're selling, or it's not the organization, or even your own business. Like you are the product. People trust in you. And in order to get noticed, especially in a field like this, for me, it was really important that people heard me screaming as loud as possible. I didn't go as far as to people on the subway, but anybody and everybody that knows me knew, all right, Antoine is in cybersecurity. And before I got to the point to where I actually had my first role, people looked at me like, that's that guy. Like, go to him if you have questions about X, Y, and Z. And it's really just staying consistent, man. I think that technology is a great tool for us to all utilize. So, we got together because I seen you and your great marketing on YouTube, and your SEO is really good. But outside of that, I use LinkedIn. That's my vehicle that I'm leveraging. And a lot of it is because you can see what other people in the industry are doing. People that have already made their foothold, but also other people that are in the same place as you trying to make that transition. And everybody is following you. Everybody looks, even when you don't realize it. So there's a lot of different tools that you're able to use to make yourself stand out above the crowd. And also just keep people in the loop. Like I'm staying active. Nobody wants to get comfortable and say, oh, he was doing really good and he slowed down, what happened to him? So social media and just marketing sales is really helping me out a lot.
Yeah, I made a video yesterday about your profile, your LinkedIn profile, and I'm trying to tell people that, LinkedIn is the #1 marketing tool, free for professionals. And I mean, there's so many different ways you can stand out. And I think you hit, you check the box on every single one of those. With the profile picture was engaging with the blue ring around it, and you have all your certifications tabbed at the top, so they're visible. You're given that validation. You go to your activity, you're constantly posting and commenting and being engaging, and that's really what it takes. This is a full-time marketing job. So in a way, you kind of were in the perfect career path to transition into cyber.
Yeah, it's just funny. So man, I'm gonna let you in on a little insider news. When I said I was done with sales, like I was done with sales. When I took my very first class in cybersecurity, I threw away my ties. I donated my suits. Like, I was 100% in. I didn't want to talk about anything that had to do with that. And ironically enough, the guy, and his name is AJ. I'm gonna put him out there. His name is AJ. That's the person that hired me. The one thing that separated me apart from the other applicants and other people he had been in this interview process with is my sales background. So I want people to lean into your past experiences because that's what's going to help you out. And this is what he exactly told me. And I talked to a guy last week, and he was a salesperson and he's trying to break into cyber. And I told him the same information. This guy told me, Antoine, I interview 1,000 human robots a day. They could sit down and they could do the technical stuff. They could do it. But in our role, it's more than just technical. You have to be able to effectively communicate with a client, yourself, your team. And my sales background and him knowing that, hey, this guy knows how to communicate effectively was actually that thing that set me above everybody else. Right. So no matter what you're doing, you know, leverage your background in those tool sets to get you to where you want to be at, specifically in cyber.
Yeah, man. Great points. Great points. And then I don't mean to age you, you know, I mean, you said you were 33, but at the time when you were making the transition, but I think it's very helpful because, you know, people might think is 33 is a little older. Hey, I'm 28, 29. I've been doing, you know, accounting for the past 8 years. Nobody's going to take a chance on me. And you know, you said, hey, I'm 33. You threw away the suit and tie and you became the cyber guy. And I think that a lot of people need to hear that because, you know, it's never too late to make your transition.
Man, 100%. And I'm just like everybody else, like in terms of like how I feel. Like people that know me on a personal level, they say this dude go hard. But I've had those same insecurities. Like I don't know how many times or how many YouTube videos I watched where I was just like, man, are you too old to get into cyber? I'm on Reddit groups. Are you too old? Like, what's the age population look like? And what I want to say that people, you know, that 33 and above or whatever your age may be, you're never too old. You're never too old. I think if anything, you bring a lot more wisdom. And you got to remember, we started all this technology stuff, our generation, you know, so we should be able to more so be in tune with it. I'm a big advocate of, you know, you put out that energy, it has to come back some way. So as long as, you know, you're doing what you need to do, like you're going to get there, man. I was definitely up until the point I got hired, I wasn't sure if I made the right decision to be 100 with you, you know, and a lot of that confidence came from talking to mentors, other people that's in the community that's around the same age as me. And it's not like everybody just got out of high school or got out of college. Like, you know, it's people doing this career that just started and they're in their 50s. It's all about what you bring to the table and what you're willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your goals. I was in a meeting today, not to run too long, but my guy AJ said, Antoine, you know what? I'm gonna give you a certain assignment, and it's because I know that your attitude is so positive and you can go above and beyond any expectation. That came because I was in the military, and that became my age, right? My experience has gotten me into a position where I can humble myself and say, look, I know what it's gonna take, so I'm gonna take on any opportunity that I have. So the age is a good thing.
Right. Great point. Great points. So let's talk about the education versus certifications. You got a master's in cybersecurity, amongst other degrees, but let's keep it cyber. And then you also got some certifications. I just want to know what you think of each and how they've helped you on your journey, and you know, any advice around that.
Man, 100%. So first, that's a great question because that was something that I looked up a lot before moving into, you know, this space. And I would say that both of them, they work great in tandem. I've been in situations where, you know, I think that my degree helped me out a lot. Going back to school, especially, like I said, being an older person and then also transitioning into another career. When I got inside of my cybersecurity program, 90% of the people that were in my program were already in cybersecurity, or they were already in IT, whether it's through policy, you know, they're doing analyst stuff, or they're helping people with cloud environments. It didn't matter. So what that did for me was it changed my group, you know, and I was able to learn from them and network with them. So from an educational standpoint, that 4-year degree, that 2-year degree, I feel like that'll be a great place for somebody that just doesn't know where they are, and they want to build that network and get some insider tips, because these people will tell you all the time, the community is really helpful. I had people look at my resume, pass my resume out, tell me about other opportunities, whether it be cyber leagues, different websites I can go to. It was great. And the only thing that I would say is it could be costly. Like I had the military pay for mine, so I didn't have to worry about paying tuition. And sometimes the content, you will learn it a lot slower because it's paced out. Whereas it might have taken me 2 years to graduate with my master's degree, but I got 4 certifications in the span of 6 months. And those certifications, I learned a whole lot more.
Right.
I mean, at an accelerated pace. I learned so much with my self-study and these certifications that by the time I got to the class that related to the subject, I didn't even have to think about it. I was just like, I got it.
Right.
So I guess what I would say to people that were juggling the two, I would say if you feel like you're already in a career and that degree will help you like boost your salary, or it might help you transition into another role, do it. But if I can go back and I understood the power of certifications, I would have just got the certification. I feel like I got the information a lot faster. It was a lot cheaper, or more affordable. And the same stuff I was learning in school, it was already done. Who doesn't want to have a great badge or certification you can post on the wall on your Facebook page? Yeah. It comes a lot faster than that degree. But I would say they both hold their own in value, because like I said, you build your network in school. Unless you have a study group with a certification, it's just you.
So 4 certs in 6 months, that's super impressive. What's your process like? I mean, how often you got to study for that? What is that's YouTube? Or are you doing books? What's your approach?
Man, so my approach is, what I'll do is, so I have a collection of websites. Let's put it that way. I have a collection of websites that I have my study material already laid out for me. I'll just literally, like when I did my Security Plus, first I found the free stuff. So I ended up going to shout out to Professor Messer on YouTube.
Sure.
Then I looked at my other websites, and I was able to find video courses on those subjects or on Security Plus. Then what I did was I would watch a lot of people that just passed their Security Plus or whatever certification I'm headed out for, and see what kind of literature they read. I would order those books. So typically the way I learn best is I don't take notes. Like I have to actually understand the information. So it's a lot of repetition. I will literally watch the video all the way through. I'll do the practice exams if they do have practice exams. And then that's so I can visually see how these tools go together, see it on a board. Then to reinforce that material, I'll go back and read the book. And for my Security Plus, I read the Security Plus exam cram book. I did all the practice exams. I read the official study guide, all the practice exams. I even went to a boot camp at the University of Syracuse, and they had their online study. So typically what I do is, man, I'll watch the videos, I'll read the book, and then I'll continuously take those practice exams. And then I'll come back at the end of everything, run through it one more time, and then just sign up. And the first thing I do is when I see a certification I want to go after, before even thinking about it, I just go and register and schedule it. That way I have to at least start to get to some kind of progress, and I can't just put it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. So you do that over and over 4 times in 6 months. What was the so you do Security Plus first, and then what?
So after me, it was Security Plus. And so the reason I did it was based on the pathways because I was like, I don't got time to figure out exactly which one to go to. So I literally went to the CompTIA website and I saw, hey, look, this is the progression. I had spoke to some of my instructors, and they said, hey, you know what? You're kind of a little too advanced for A+. I suggest you get to Security Plus. That way, that's kind of like an entry level cybersecurity, no matter where you go. And I'm telling people, you can use that if you want to get into like the government or you want to get regular. Like Security Plus is something that they kind of require.
Right.
With me wanting to be a red teamer and Pentest, I went straight to Pentest Plus. It wasn't even a thought. And for me, like I treat everything like school. It's like building blocks. Like you got your foundational Legos and you put the other ones on top of them. The information was so fresh with the Security Plus. When I started studying for my Pentest Plus, a lot of the information just carried right over. You know, they just had a few more, they might have went a little bit more in depth about something, but I coupled that with things like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box. I had built my own lab. I had virtual VMs set up at the office. Or in my house. I had a whole nother laptop that I use. I wiped the system off of it, put Kali Linux, so I had a dedicated pen testing machine. And then I kept that information fresh. At that point, I said, all right, cool. I got this Pentest Plus, and I was sweating, man. Like these online, it was during COVID. So these online exams, man, I got in like 30 minutes early, and the guy was late, the proctor, and I was sweating like, dude, did I do something wrong? I had called them, I put the phone up. Hey, I'm not cheating. I'm calling to see if we can start the exam. But yeah, man, that was a stressful but fun experience. So I have two mentors. One of them is a pen tester. The other one, he does cloud. And the one that does cloud said, look, I'm glad that you did get your Pentest Plus, but what happens if I send you out to do a pen testing event and they don't have anything on premises? The whole infrastructure is in the cloud. Then what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. So he said, look, go and figure out AWS. So I did the same process. I did my cloud practitioner, went to the website. And for those people that don't have a lot of money, or you just want to be cost effective with your budgets, Udemy is a great source. I literally went on Udemy, downloaded a course, watched the video a few times. It took me about 2 weeks, and that was on and off because I had different things in life happening. I knocked that out, and the cloud practitioner was an awesome certification because literally it was like a spelling test. It said, look, this is an S3 bucket, this is CloudFront, this is whatever service. And this is the service. This is what it does. Once again, it's building blocks. By the time I went and did my Solutions Architect, which was immediately after I got the last certification, it was fresh in my brain. Literally, it said, look, I told you what these tools are. Now I'm going to tell you how they play with each other. So that information was fresh in my head, and I was able to go through the courses and pick up the material a whole lot faster. And another thing that I did, because I'm always trying to go above and beyond, I said, look, well, how do I get experience in this cloud stuff? Because it's not like I can build a virtual lab and start hacking at it. Right. I actually made a static website based on AWS, and everything is free. Like I found a free domain website. I got it set up on the S3 bucket because it's a static site. It has CloudFront, so it's in multiple regions. No matter where you are, you can get to it. It's all in the cloud. And I put that as a project. So that way, if I did get approached by somebody that said, I seen you got your certification, what have you been doing with it? Right. Well, I haven't been in the actual industry, but hey, I can take you to this website and I can walk you through the whole architecture and why I did certain things. So, yeah, man, I don't want to go too far, but that's my process when it comes to these certifications. I get excited, man.
So what do you do when real life happens and studying gets boring and the material just dry? It's hard to cut through. Do you ever fall off, or how do you manage those days where you're having a hard time pushing through?
Man, take a day off. To be honest, I used to be like just so gung-ho, like, man, run it. But at the end of the day, man, what I found myself doing was like getting burnt out on subjects, or supposed to be studying and I'm looking at doing something else. Like what I learned to do that would help me is I would study straight for like 30 minutes consistently on something. And then I would just walk away and take a 10-minute break. No matter what it was, I can just be sitting at the computer. I can close my eyes for a minute, walk around the house, do some push-ups. But it gave my mind the time to reset. And if I did need to take some time off, like I'm all about baby steps. Just remember, look, I got a goal and I made X amount of process. It's not a sprint, so sometimes I would take 2 or 3 days off after studying because I was like, man, this content is dry, or, I'm out of it. And what I noticed when I revisited the subject and I picked up where I came, dude, everything was clicking. It was on fire. It's almost like my brain needed that time to recalibrate and put all the pieces together. And then when I went back to studying, it said, okay, Antoine, now let's go. I got you.
Good. Have you ever heard of imposter syndrome? And if you have you dealt with it and how do you cope?
Yes. So we can keep it cyber because I got a few imposter syndrome stories I can get into. But the very first one was like I've been talking to you. I'm excited about getting this job, and I rocked and rolled and I got the interview and I got it. I got the job quick. Like it was really quick. And the second day that I got this job, my guy called me and said, "Hey, so I got a special project for you, and I need you to get it done. What we talking about?" And you know me, I'm fresh. I'm still me. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it knocked out. And then as soon as he got off the phone, I realized like I ain't never did that before. Do he know who I like? Can I do that? Like it was funny, man. I literally had to. I was driving. I stopped my car and pulled over and called my boy, which wasn't no help because he didn't answer the phone. But like it was that realization, like I'm here. And for me, it was like I know I had put in the hours, I put in the money, I did the everything I was supposed to do to get to that point. But something in the back of my head said, "Are you sure?" Well, it shouldn't have been there. Like, but for me, it was just like coming back. I had a really good conversation with my cousin, and she said, "Look, you deserve to be here. If somebody else sees the skill set in you and the abilities, then you should trust that." And that kind of reset me. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be in this position if I couldn't accomplish this. And then when I went back to the workspace and talked to other people, not specifically about this project, but it's in general, I realized they had the same understanding that I did. Like one of my coworkers, she was a med school student and switched into cybersecurity.
Oh,
So she said, when the first time I looked at a SIM device or a log, I felt like, oh my gosh, you know. But like for me, it's all about just realizing, look, you in that place, and if you're not confident in yourself, there's other people that are confident in you, and that's why they ask you to do it, and you can knock it out. Just do it. Just try it.
great answer, man. So funny. My first week NBC Universal as a SOC analyst, I had did all the studying and the self-studying, the certification stuff, and I just thought I knew so much. And then the first week on the job, I'm like, man, I can't believe I was applying for jobs without knowing what I know now. And I was just like 3-4 days in. But that learning curve is so steep, and you're learning so much so fast. But I definitely went through the same thing. I'm like, you're asking me to analyze some firewall logs? I'm like, you know who I am? But yeah, man. Yeah, good stuff. Last question for me is, what advice do you have for folks trying to break into cybersecurity? People on the fence, they don't know if they really want to do it, if they can do it. What would you say to those folks?
Man, first I would say like don't hop into anything, especially cybersecurity, like without fully understanding, if this is something you really want to do. Because for me, like it has to be a passion. Like we had talked a little bit offline about this. And for me, it was like when I got into cyber, like that's all I was doing. Like, and it wasn't like for me, for like that studying was like fun for me. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta knock this out so I can get to the next cert or the next class. I would say like if you need information about the industry, or go and look on YouTube. YouTube has a wealth of information. Go on LinkedIn and look at other people and see their stories. And then, just start studying for something. If you think you're interested in it, don't want a YouTube video, pick up a quick book about it, read up on it and see if it's something that you're interested in. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like if you move into this space, it should be something that you're passionate about. Like when I go to work right now, it's like a game to me. It's like, dude, I'm getting paid to do this. And I was thinking the same thing when I was studying for it, except I was paying for it. But I would say reach out to people. My man D, like he has a great YouTube presence. Go and look at some of his videos and, come and check me out on LinkedIn and really just start networking. At the end of the day, it's all about marketing, marketing yourself, selling yourself, and building your network of people inside of that community. That's how you really get a feel for it. Like you can't say, I want to be a boxer because you watch, Mayweather on TV and you ain't never went to the gym. Like kind of get your feet wet. See if this is right for you, because it's so many different lanes you can go into. Like you can do project management. If you got a project management background, you could do the pen testing. If you're into the tech stuff, you could be a developer or a coder. If you don't want to touch any kind of tools, you can be somebody that deals with policy. So it's so many different things that you could do, but you won't even know this until you start reaching out to people. And that, what I would say is reach out to people. Don't be afraid, be a friend. You know what I mean? And be willing to learn.
Well put. Yes, sir. Strongly agree, man. Strongly agree. You want to share your contact information so people can reach out to you? People are inspired by your story.
Yeah, man. So like I said, my main source is LinkedIn. I would say you go on LinkedIn and you can type in Antoine Matthews, Antoine Matthews, or I should just look, it's somewhere over here on the Zoom screen. And or you can contact me via email at antoine.matthewspro@gmail. But either way, man, I'll get back to whoever get in contact with me. I'm all about helping others do what I did, because a lot of us got the same questions, but everybody's not going to speak up. So if you need to slide me on a DM or just get in contact with me, definitely reach out and I got you.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. And I think your story is definitely going to motivate folks who are on the fence, marketing, sales, to cybersecurity. Hats off to you. Congratulations. I look forward to, keeping in touch and hearing more about your career, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm gonna keep it exciting. Look on LinkedIn. Follow me up. You'll see all the progress.
Oh, no. Thanks, man.
All right, brother.